Let's react to Bryan Johnson's video called My Anti-Aging Skincare Routine.
Skin is the largest organ of our bodies. As a kid, I kind of destroyed mine. I was in the sun all the time, no sunscreen, and now I'm in my 40s, I'm paying the price.
Yeah, the sun can be really damaging to skin, and as we hurt our skin early in life when we're under the sun and we're not wearing sunscreen, for example, we pay for that later on because some of those effects, they compound over time.
I had a lot of skin aging damage, and what we've done is we've used various technologies to measure my skin damage and my age. I'm going to show you three things today. I'm going to start with the creams, then I'm going to show you lasers or devices, and then I'm going to tell you what you should do on a daily basis. I wake up, I wash my face with CeraVe. It's got some salicylic acid.
That can be a bit strong for people. Over at feelconfident.com, we created our own facial cleanser, and it's a bit more gentle. It doesn't contain salicylic acid, but for some people that can work. But for most people, they're going to find it to be a bit too irritating.
I just applied this Adipoo cream. We've been trying this now for 3 weeks. Like we do with every cream, we're motivated to see, does this work by the markers we can measure? So this is basically feeding fat cells in my face because I'm trying to rejuvenate the volume in my face. This is supposed to help, but again, we're 2 weeks in, and it could be in the case that in a week or 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now, it's in kind of like the cream graveyard on my counter.
Maybe I should send Bryan Johnson some of our own facial moisturizing cream. This is the sneak peek. Maybe I'll send him one. Yeah, we'll see if he likes it.
Well, we're not doing it anymore because it's got to prove that it's worthy of existence in the protocol. Otherwise, it's out.
Yeah, but I wonder how long he gives these creams a chance, because obviously there's a lot going on with all these medications that he's on and different treatments that he's doing. So it might take some time to really be able to sift through what's really working and what is not.
What we've basically found is that creams don't move the needle on data. Like if you're trying to really address the crow's feet, or you're trying to reduce the UV damage, which you can't see with your eye, it's on a machine, using multispectral imaging, you really need to use devices like lasers and other things, IPL.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the creams are not going to reverse a lot of the potential aging signs or damage that's been caused to the skin, but they're great at maintaining proper skin and then also giving you some just general baseline boost to the texture of your skin, to the glow of the skin. So it's really great for that. But of course, I mean, over-the-counter cosmetic products are not going to be as effective as something that's as strong as a chemical peel or a laser or some of the other things that he's doing.
So I try to spend my time in the sun in the early mornings or in the evenings when the UV index is low. Otherwise, I stay out of the sun, but when I am in the sun, I do have sunscreen on.
That's a good general recommendation for all people. Even if it's not sunny outside, you still want to apply sunscreen daily.
Welcome to the clinic. Here is kind of how we understand reality. We have these markers, for example, with skincare, like UV damage, pore size, reds, browns, etc. If we don't hit the markers, the technology is out. And so let me show you how we do these baseline measurements to get us orientation on where my starting point is. So this is an Exelis device. This is for the face. This is a radio frequency technology. This tip here warms up and you kind of roll it over the skin. And it's used for collagen production and for tightening the skin. So as you age, you lose firmness of the skin and less collagen. So we're trying to revolumize it.
So it's not so much that it's revolumizing, it's actually causing some degree of scar tissue. This extra collagen is really because you're cooking the tissues, right? And so as you cook them, they get more scarred down, and that's the collagen that he's talking about. So it doesn't really bring more volume in, but it can make the face appear a little bit tighter, and that's from that excess collagen or really scar tissue that's being laid down under the skin surface. Whenever we're doing something like a facelift surgery, it's much more difficult to dissect planes naturally when you have this prior radiofrequency energy that was used for these non-invasive type of ways to tighten the face. So that's one of the downsides of doing these types of non-invasive procedures, because if you ever do decide to get a surgery to really reset the tissues, it's going to be a more difficult surgery for your surgeon, which in turn might lead to a higher incidence of complications.
If you see my pictures from a year ago to now, it's a big difference. I've revolumized quite a bit. So we did this for a protocol We've paused this because we're a little bit worried about it being potentially a cause for fat loss.
I don't know everything else that he does. Maybe he'll get into it, but I don't think the radio frequency is what's caused the revolumization of his face. Because in reality, he's about to get into this now, but yes, it can lead to some degree of fat atrophy. As you're cooking the tissue underneath the skin, well, what's there? Fat is part of it, right? So you're causing some additional collagen to be laid down in the form of some scar tissue, but also you can cook the fat. And as you cook the fat, it starts to atrophy and our face starts to get more gaunt appearing. Another system that has shown similar types of effects is Ulthera, which uses an ultrasound-based energy to do something similar to this radio frequency energy device. Another similar system is like Morpheus from InMode, and a lot of people now are sounding the alarm on that system and other radio frequency types of systems or radio frequency based energy because they can potentially melt the fat away. Even if you stay within the manufacturer's recommended temperature range, you can still see those effects, unfortunately.
We've become very recently positive on a technology called Tixel. We don't yet own the device, we're buying it now, but that uses thermal mechanical ablation. So it uses a titanium tip and it delivers these intense pulses of heat. And we found it is safe. So we've used lasers, we've used RF.
Yeah, it's still delivering energy that can do very similar things to what the radio frequency energy or the ultrasound energy can do. I mean, they're all just different forms of energy that are trying to get at the same tissues, and they're all subject to potentially causing the same effects. Some good, some not so good.
We started using this device. This is BBL, also known as IPL.
Don't confuse BBL with the other type of BBL that exists.
And we started doing full body treatments. There was a small study at Stanford that showed that it changed the genetic expression of skin to be dramatically younger. It wasn't a big enough study to give us a huge amount of confidence, but enough where we're like, you know what, let's play with this. So we started doing whole body, and it was basically effective at eliminating a bunch of the skin damage.
Intense pulse light therapy is something that I recommend for patients who have some excess redness, such as after a surgery, for example, to try to get rid of that. But it can also be used for some age-related skin spots as well.
Another device which we've used, which is kind of like it's gone in and out of our protocol, is Soluma Pro. It's a bit expensive. It's $1,500 for this, so it's kind of a big buy.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that BBL system that he has and the radio frequency system are, at least 100,000. So I'm not sure why he's pointing out the price of this laser light, but the other systems are probably even more expensive.
It has both red and blue light, and red is for collagen production and healing, skin health.
We have a full video about red light therapy. We have one on hair, but then we have another one where we go into the mechanisms of how these red light systems work and what they're doing to promote optimal skin health.
And then finally, let me walk over here and show you this. We have stayed with red light therapy. We weren't certain whether it justified the time.
So this is again another red light system.
I do this 3 times a week for 12 minutes. And it uses both red light and near infrared. It's good for skin health, for healing, for mitochondrial health. It even has red light therapy has been shown to be useful for depression when it's exposed to the forehead. So there's all kinds of things that just has general health benefits. And because I do work out quite a bit, I'm pretty active, giving a little boost to my recovery. So this one, we feel like the evidence is there to support doing this, even though we can't directly measure its effect because it's compounded upon other things we do. Red light in a certain wavelength has the ability to penetrate deeper, and it can help things like your tendons, your ligaments heal faster. So what he's saying is, it does have some evidence to support its use. Okay, welcome to the kitchen. This is the exciting part. I have a few things that are a little unconventional. Okay, so I'm kind of unconventional, but on my windows, I have really big ones all over the house, and I get a lot of sun in the morning and night. And so to control the environment, we have a tint on here that knocks out like 99.9% of UV. That's smart. I like that approach. Sun causes damage. It ages your skin. It makes you look older. Yeah, there's really, other than the appearance, maybe there's nothing good about a suntan. When I go outside, I'll walk to the cafe close by. I will take an umbrella with me and I'll have the umbrella above my head. that is weird in the United States of America. In other places of the world, it's very common and very normal. So just to be aware that other people do have skin practices that are useful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that he's going the extra mile to try to protect himself from the sun. It's much easier to prevent the damage than it is to later on try to fix it.
The most effective thing to do is avoid the damage. If you're going to be outside, wear sunscreen, or if you can avoid it altogether, even better. But really, for the basics we can all agree upon, let's try to stop the damage, have a good diet, and we'll be off to a good starting point.
I like his message of prevention when it comes to his skin and all of our skin, and even many medical conditions can be prevented if we're careful with the types of foods that we eat and how we generally take care of ourselves. And things like exercise are important, of course. So doing all that can often prevent bigger problems that are much more difficult to treat later on.